This podcast is not rated. Listener discretion advised.
Mission 250.
I'm so excited to talk about this one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Whoa!
Oh, yeah.
I am recording. I'm
An
so excited.
oldie but an oldie.
An oldie but an
I'm
oldie.
recording. Oh, you
like that
you
one.
wasted it, John. That's going to go first.
Oldie but an oldie.
We've started. This is the Mission 250 Filmcast. I am one of your hosts, Stenny, and you guys are who?
I am John.
Guy on the street. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm Johnny on
Some
the corner.
random guy. Or no, John's on the street or TC's on the street?
TC's on the street. I
Okay.
don't know.
Yeah.
John's
We're
on
going
the
to keep the
street.
narrative solid. Come on, John.
Yeah. I'm on the sidewalk, man. I don't go on the street. You get run over
I
on
go
the
for
street,
the
man.
overpasses, man.
Yeah.
But yeah,
No,
we
stay
talk
on
about
the
movies,
sidewalk.
best movies
Been going
ever
over
made.
that with my daughter. You're on the sidewalk. The street's bad.
Yes, and we also do
Anyway.
metaphors that last too long. John, what are we doing
Yes,
this podcast each week?
What?
do we
Metaphors
do?
that last too long?
Yeah.
Yeah, that. Oh, other things. We also every week watch a film because we are going through the IMDb top 250 movies as rated by the esteemed users of that prestigious institution.
Applied for and accepted their positions at the
Yes,
IMDb
yes.
Institute.
Right. We watch that movie every week. We have been doing it for a while now. I don't
same
know
movie every week.
exactly. Yeah,
Over
yeah.
2 years at this point.
Yes.
With accuracy, I
movie.
can say.
Ridiculous.
We've been watching Hachi for the last
Right.
2 years.
Nice. You know, I
TC
forgot
has
to,
been secretly watching Hachi every week.
Over and over.
Yeah, I was so surprised Hachi wasn't even on your top 5 worst or top 3
I
worst.
can't even give it a
Danny.
worst.
Yeah,
You know?
It's not bad. It's
worth it,
fluffy.
huh?
The movie's just fluffy. Come on.
Yeah, I like the dog. Okay, anyway, sorry. So yeah, each week we watch the movie, we discuss it, have some facts and trivia about it, and that's it.
That's it. And this week, we're watching a number 149, which is the 1953 movie Tokyo Story, directed by Yasujiro Ozu. The synopsis is an old couple visit their children and grandchildren in the city, but the children have little time for them. This week, it is my turn to go first. And so John made a
Danny.
joke. John made a joke about being old. This movie is old. This movie looks very old. I rented it on HD on Amazon, which I shouldn't have wasted my extra $1 for. It
Might have been better
it
if being fuzzy.
flickered the entire time. The audio static was going the entire time, like
Oh,
whole movie. It was a square frame. It
was a square frame.
Slow,
Very square.
slow.
Slower. Going backwards now.
Yeah. And the last half an hour of the movie had me nearly in tears.
Did it?
oh, it got you.
It got me.
It got you. Good for you.
Yeah.
That's good.
Nearly, though. Couldn't do it. I kind of like this movie. I probably wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but I would call it like a really nice movie about
Family.
I don't know, family and just like how, like the point of the movie is, right? It's like life most of the time is boring and pointless with pointless dialogue, repetition, and
Bunch of ungrateful people.
bunch of ungrateful people.
Right.
And like, you know, it's like movies aren't normally about this. And I mean, we've watched a couple of
That's
movies.
because you live this.
Right. And
Right.
it's boring.
And it's boring. Yeah.
But it's funny because like some movies, you know, they're centered around an event, and this movie is also centered around an event. I won't spoil that quite yet, but be warned.
We like movies like this that do
Yes.
this slice of life thing.
And those
typically.
movies are
Yes.
considered slow, but this movie is slower
Even
than
slower.
those.
Molasses.
It's so slow. Like there are scenes without dialogue where people are putting away laundry,
Yeah.
and like people like making
Oh, that was
food.
riveting.
Oh.
Don't forget the sock. Don't forget the sock.
Dude, we made fun of like Cool Hand Luke for being mostly like whacking the weeds or whatever. This
Yeah,
movie
yeah.
is mostly fanning yourself. That's
What
the half
does
of this
it
movie.
mean when you would
When you
fan
tap?
yourself and then you'd whack yourself?
And you whack.
Yeah.
I think
And
so.
fan
I
and
have
whack.
guesses at that. I mean,
Oh,
I have
yeah.
no idea, but I think it's just like itches, like you're hot and you're itchy, so you whack yourself and it kind of scratches the itch for
that's
you.
an excellent idea. Because this is what they would do. They would fan themselves, and then there would be like a whack of occasional
And it'd be a pattern,
whacks.
kind of, right?
Yeah, almost like there was something meaningful in it. I don't know. You're clearing the dust off your fan. I don't know. But yeah,
I don't know
so
either.
a lot of fanning with occasional whacking of the fan on like the knee or the back or something. But you're right. Maybe it's a kind of way of just like sort of scratching yourself.
Because you know how like when it's hot and sticky out and like you
Yeah,
get like
yeah.
a droplet of sweat out of nowhere and you just got to touch it and you're fine.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up because I forgot to. I was going to bring that up, but I would have forgotten had you not mentioned it. So
Yes.
now I'm glad you did.
Oh, I have on my very few notes. I have a big word that says "fan." That was going to be a talking point for us. So don't you worry about that, John. I got it covered.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well done, sir.
So I don't know. We can't really dive deep into this movie. It's so simple. But the reason it made me cry, or almost cry, is because it had me thinking about like the impending death of my mother, which is going to happen, and like thinking about it in this way, where it's like you're busy, you're doing stuff, and then your mother dies. And when it happens, there's like, it's more mundane probably than you think it's going to be. It's not going to be like, I don't know, like a movie or whatever, like something you've never experienced before.
Right. And you may, for all you know, just get on with your life. Like those kids seem, like half of the kids seem to be doing, right?
Yeah.
Be like, I got a baseball game tonight.
Yeah.
Got to get back to town.
And at the same, like, yeah.
Take the train, late one. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It just like made it seem like the way the father dealt with it was very sad, but also I kind of hope that I can deal with it like that. Like
I thought was my favorite part of the film. I think
he was amazing. I thought the grandmother, the two grandparents were really, really good.
Yeah, they were. Sometimes, I don't know, for some reason the younger kids, their acting seemed a little over the top.
Oh, the grandchildren?
Yeah, it seemed like almost, and I don't know, maybe it's just because everything else is so understated that they're showing emotion and it seems weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, the two grandparents, I agree. I think it was such a quiet way that they presented themselves that it was, and he would just be like, yeah.
You're like,
yeah. Oh man.
But I mean,
anyway,
in the beginning too, I was like, oh man, this movie is like wooden and like stilted and like, play-y and stuff. But
the weirdest thing about it.
But I don't think it is. I just want to say that.
No,
but
no.
like it was just the tone of the movie. Like but go ahead. Sorry.
No. It's just the weirdest thing was when you would cut to a person talking and they were looking right at you.
Right, directly at the camera.
Yeah, that was weird. That was like that.
I didn't even notice that.
Oh,
they shot it really low too.
Really?
Everything was shot up.
Yeah,
Did you guys notice that?
He invented a type of shooting by doing that.
It's like
okay.
you're supposed to be at the level kind of
Kneeling.
where you are if you're sitting on the floor, kind of. So you're at that level. But I'm really surprised you didn't notice it, Denny, because
I got kind of into this movie, so I wasn't like.
I know. Yeah.
Wow.
You were bawling like a little baby. I know,
dude. It was so freaking sad at the end. Like even the bitch daughter who I didn't think was going to care at all, like broke down, and I was like, oh man.
And Naomi's one was disgusting. You're like wiping your snot all over. It was terrible. But
I think I was working by that point. I wasn't even paying attention.
Yeah,
I had given up on this one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was like choosing to work.
Dude, so many people consider this one of the best movies ever made.
Yes, if not the best.
Yeah. It was voted in 2005 by a group of like 200 something famous directors as the best movie ever made.
Yeah.
Damn, glad I watched like 45 minutes of it.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, wait.
Did you play it to the end?
Oh no,
wait,
it was.
wait
I
a
was sitting
minute.
here. I was glancing up. I'd be like, "All right, I can't know what they're talking about if I'm not looking at the subtitles."
Oh, dude.
And then I'd
I
watch.
don't know, man.
I'd last like 10 minutes, and I'd be like, "Nah," and I'm back to my phone.
That's a punt. You
All
lost
right.
your punt carryover
and I was
so
like,
soon.
I don't know. I gotta go back.
I don't know,
Shit.
man. I'm worried.
I mean,
you
I
took
followed the story, but it just
Did you?
It's boring
Well,
as
that's
fuck.
not hard to do because you can get the story by looking up once every 20 minutes. You'll probably be all right.
It's like I'd catch myself and be like, "Oh shit, I'm not listening or watching again." Fuck, and then I'd go back and I'd pause and rewind a little bit.
Did you watch the drunk scene at all? Because I wanted to ask you, as an expert with alcohol, how good.
Oh, what?
Wait a minute,
when
Danny.
Grandpa?
I don't
when
think that's fair.
When Grandpa gets drunk, you mean?
Yeah. No, it's not fair. I wanted to compare notes, John. It's not like I'm putting it all on TC.
As one fellow expert to another.
Yes,
I'm
exactly.
sorry.
I want to
Carry
compare
on then.
notes.
Carry on.
Compare
I mean,
notes.
what did you? I mean, I don't know. It seemed all right to me. It's a drunk that's slipping up, right? Because wasn't he sober?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I
No, he
wasn't
was-
paying attention. You're
no,
right.
he
You
was
could throw
back
this as
on
the
the
punt
wagon.
if you want. I
No,
couldn't
that
care.
was kind of the general idea, was that he had a drinking problem when he
Right.
was younger, but he stopped.
and that's why
But-
they got all bent out of shape
Right.
at him.
But he's also like, even though in his totally understated way, pretty unhappy with how his kids are treating him.
Yeah, and I thought that was great too, because it was kind of hard to, because I mean, it seems very straightforward with the dialogue, what they say, but the intent behind what they're saying has like a politeness covering it. So it's kind of hard to totally get what they're saying. Like even when him and the grandmother were deciding to go home, they were like, well, at least we're lucky our kids are better than average. And I was like, wait a minute, are they trying just to be nice to each other and trying to, like, is
But
this
did
the
they
kind of
have-
relationship they have with each other where they kind of lie to each other to keep themselves happy?
But they're saying their kids have jobs and they have families and they're not poor. I mean, they're not like they're not leeching off them. They're not, they're responsible. They have their own lives.
But they don't love the parents.
Well, I know, but they're still saying like, at least they're not like.
No, I understand that. But are they happy
right?
about that?
Oh,
or are they
I know. But that's the whole tragedy of the movie in a sense. Like, in one way, their kids are successful. They're on their own. They have jobs. They have families. They are functioning members of society. And there are lots of kids that aren't necessarily like that, right?
Yeah.
They've sort of like can say in practical matters
that they're successful.
Yes.
Yeah.
That they're better than average, or at least at least the kids aren't begging them for money or mad at them or mean to them. They're none of those things.
Kind of that one girl was kind of mean to them.
Hairdresser is kind of
beautician lady was kind of the villain.
She's
of the
like,
movie
and she's like, it's like in a bitch. Like she's actually bitchy.
Yeah.
Like she says like really like reverse psychology shit,
right.
Too like, oh, I wonder who could do this, or maybe you should take care of the kids, or
It really
I don't know
struck
who
me,
could do that.
Like one of the most like striking lines, which I thought was really, really well done in a way, was for her to say like to watch her deal with after she died and being like, oh well, we had a nice visit and we talked about many things. That was to me like really a striking point of the
like
film.
She's totally made up a whole story.
No, she's like immediately like readjusting herself.
Her reality, of what happened. We had nice talks and it was good. And, like you didn't even fucking pay attention to it.
Yeah.
You started stealing her clothes afterwards.
Oh, I know that was so bad. She's like, what about the what is it? The Komodo?
It was like the scarf or something, like a gray
scarf,
scarf,
and then some
like
kind of like dress or something. Yeah. Like, she's like, I want that too. It's like, can you fetch that for me? Like, shut up.
Yeah.
See, I watched little bits.
Yes, you did.
There you go,
That's
Danny.
very
Go
good.
Jesse.
Very good.
Whatever her name is.
And I felt really sad too when the stepdaughter was talking about how she was unhappy and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And like the whole thing there is, she's like, I can't keep going on like this. And like, what does this mean? Does this mean like mourning, kind of half mourning for her ex-husband, or does it mean like pretending to enjoy life so much? Like, is the entire thing an act where she's like the nicest person there is?
Yeah.
And the reason she admits to like being selfish and everything is because she knows that it's all fake what she's doing to everybody.
Right. Yeah.
And I mean, what's wrong with that? And the whole thing, like, you can think about that too. It's like, is that a bad way to live life? Like, it's more enjoyable for others.
Is it worse? I mean, at least she's kind to the people around her.
Yeah.
But she might even think that's where, I didn't even think about that, Denny, in terms of like, she doesn't necessarily even mean it. She
doesn't.
is doing what
I think that's why she thinks she's like, you have no idea how selfish I am.
Oh, wait. And that then explains like when she talks to the other sister about how she shouldn't judge other people.
Yeah.
Wow. That brings that to new light to me.
Yeah.
In terms of like, she's like, look, you don't even know what it's like and you might get older. And I mean, when you add to it that she feels like she's faking all of that, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Or more profound and sad.
And her outlook is like realistic, but depressing.
And she's the hero of the movie, but then if she feels like she's faking everything just because she feels like she's supposed to, and she doesn't even mean it.
Talking about the widow.
Yeah. I didn't think of her as possibly sincere in that. I thought she was just being humble.
Yeah, I thought it was just like being kind of like meek and being like, oh, don't listen to me. And because she's obviously not selfish.
Yeah, I know. No, but if Denny's right, it makes this even more disturbing that she's actually saying, I don't mean any of this. This is just what I think
I don't
I'm
give a shit. I'm
to do.
supposed to be nice. That's what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah,
I'm supposed to keep my husband's
right.
image on the dresser. I'm supposed to,
Yeah, exactly. And then she's like, and so don't judge these other people for actually being more honest.
Yeah, but what's better? Is that, like, I don't know what's better.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, neither one is better or worse, I don't think, right? It's just
and
how
like
people
this
are.
movie's full of that too. Like, is the father better or worse for not crying? Like,
right.
He's getting over it and he's looking at it more realistically. He's been expecting this forever. Like the way he says, this is the end or whatever he says in such a way where he's been like waiting for it for a long time. He could just be like a really smart guy preparing for the worst, and he's already kind of mourned for it his entire life. That's why he's not like immediately sad like everybody else. I don't know.
Pretty deep, man.
Yeah, this movie got me. And the 1-2 punch too was like, you think of, so like if you're the kids, your mother's dying. And if you're the old guy, then your wife is dying. So I'm thinking about like my mother and Naomi dying. And I'm like, fuck. Like, is this, I want to die before all of them. Pretty much is what I was thinking. Because I don't want to have to deal with that shit.
Yeah.
Well,
if I could go first, that'd be great.
Yeah. Keep up the drinking. You're on a good path.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, John's fired.
Dark shots.
Hey, I worry about you sometimes. That's all.
Meanwhile, John's sneaking a fucking whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's vodka, actually. But still, yes.
If it's clear, it can't kill you. That's the
Look,
rule.
man.
You don't want that brown stuff.
No.
Yeah, not good. You go for that clear stuff. That's all right.
Yeah. Cool.
Water, vodka, it's all the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what did you? I mean,
this is interesting.
What did you think, TC? It sounds like you couldn't pay attention, which is
No, I could not
understandable.
pay attention.
At the first 10 minutes,
Understandable.
I was like, TC's gonna hate this movie.
Oh,
100% guaranteed.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't hate it. I just wasn't getting much out of it.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it was this. I don't know. Was this the slowest movie we've seen so far?
It might be.
Ooh, yeah.
I can't think of one that's slower.
I'm trying to think of a slower movie. There's longer movies, so that like accumulates slowness, but I don't think so. This one really was.
I think the slowness helped it for some reason.
No, it does. It like lets you sit with what's there if you can take it.
It makes it seem so
like,
mundane and so real
right.
to the point of being boring, like life.
Exactly. Yeah, like the slice of life movies that we like say 400 Blows or what have you. Those moved a lot faster.
I think if you were at all distracted by anything, it was going to take over your mind while you're watching this movie. You'd have to be like really focused and be like, I am doing nothing but watching this.
Right. This would be best seen in a theater. This would be best seen in a place where you
have no choice.
Basically, right. Where you really have to be like, you have to really get in the moment of it. I think it's really challenging to watch this if you've got, say you're juggling a kid or whatever, which I'm commonly doing.
How do you juggle kids if you only have two? Don't you need three? But
yeah, juggling by like right now. We've got an 11-month-old who just is like a danger magnet. He's like, oh, an electrical cord. That's what I want right now.
Oh, boy.
There's some heavy books on the shelf right now. I want to go and grab those and possibly pull them down on myself so that I can die. He's got a death wish is what he has. I worry about him. He must be suicidal because
he just wants proof that you love him. You got to keep protecting him.
No, I think he's really had it already. 11 months has been too much for him. And now what he'd really like to do is like go out in some kind of blaze of glory and just pull the TV down on him. He's really...
He watched Tokyo Story over your shoulder, and he's like,
"That's
it's not worth it, man. It's not worth it, man."
He was watching Tokyo Story. He's like, "Fuck this."
Yeah, either that or because he's like, "This is the best movie ever made. I'm going to end it all right now."
I'm out, dude. I'm out. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to just destroy myself here. What? No, let me go. But anyway, yeah. TC, any other thoughts? Come on.
My favorite part was the grandfather just going, after everybody's speaking.
He had a great way of doing it. I loved it. I know, you're right. I totally agree.
It's like him being like, yep, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep, sure.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
His unmoving facial expression, he's always kind of like half smiling, half sleeping.
Yeah, he did. He kind of looked like that. You're right.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There wasn't much to this one.
So, John, were you bored by it too?
Yeah, this is one of those films that it's one of the good things about the podcast. There's a good thing sometimes, is that when we discuss these films, it makes me appreciate them more. And this one I didn't appreciate as much when I was watching it, but hearing you talk about it, Denny, helps a lot in terms of like retrospectively, like thinking about the meaning of it. Again, we were watching it over while we were in Kansas, and again, I was typically juggling one child or another while we were watching it. And that's just not the way this movie is best appreciated. And I still appreciated the way they did what they did and how real it felt. And maybe it was even more controversial at the time that it came out, or it's more like this idea of, just there's these stereotypes of how the kids respect the parents. And if the kids are successful and everybody's happy, you've got everything, if like all the practical stuff is in place, it's all great then, right? Your kids got jobs and they've got families and they get married and everything's great. They go out to the big city and they have opportunities that you never had and everything should be pretty awesome. And that it's not, and that they just sit with that. Like especially the two, the mom and the dad, just sit with that for what it is and be like, yeah, this is it, huh? They don't like rail you. There's no like dramatic, like, how could you do this after all we did for you? Or anything like that. There's no confrontation whatsoever in this film.
And the whole thing there, too, is it's supposed to be representative of Japan at the time, which was like 8 years off of the end of World War II.
Right.
And that's when like the industrialization of like Tokyo started happening, I guess. And everybody that was born, everyone who was older during that time was, stuck with the old ways, and everything else moved so fast that, and I don't know how true this is, but the whole point is like the distance between children and parents for people that grew up at that time was more than like anything.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of truth to it now where you just don't connect anymore, and you've got your own busy life. And,
right.
And the parents, you may love them, you may not, I don't know, but they're just sort of like not part of your life anymore once you've moved away. You're not even in the same area.
Right.
And that's really common in America, right? It's common
even between siblings.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I mean, not even parents.
Like they didn't, right. The siblings didn't even seem close, right? So,
right.
And we're lucky now because we have like all this technology where we can talk to people all the time.
Text all day. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Back then, if you move away, you're not talking to them for,
True. What are you going to do? Send a telegram or something?
Yeah. I appreciate this movie more by talking about it and reflecting on it than I did
think
watching it.
Hearing you guys talk about it makes me be like, I guess I should have maybe paid attention a little bit more. But I'm definitely not going to watch it again, so I'm just going to let you guys have this.
Yeah, I can't. I'm surprised it didn't get to you that they would look right at you as they talked. Like when I was
so into it because I don't know because like even in Come and See it was confusing, but this one the flow of it seemed to not take me out of it when it happened.
It didn't always happen, but more often than not, when an individual character was speaking, they were looking right at the camera.
Weird,
which is very strange, right? TC,
I saw that a few times. Yeah.
I don't remember what. That's weird.
Yeah, that's great that it didn't catch you. For some reason, it was like, it bugged me. It was like,
I liked looking at the grandfather's face. I liked looking at the widow's face. Like they had really good expressions, and I could tell I don't know, they either had like good faces for acting, or it seemed like they were doing stuff with their eyes because they both had the same expression on pretty much the whole movie. Like the widow was smiling and the old man was kind of half smiling.
Well, and think about how amazing it is that this is translating so well. Even though you're reading the subtitles, but what you've got very little to go on in terms of their emotions, except just reading their expressions.
Because the way they give the dialogue, except for the bitch sister, is pretty flat most of the time.
Yes. So I think that speaks really well to that it's not our native language, and that even maybe inflections and stuff may be quite different than the way we normally speak.
Right.
And that it still comes off as being this really deep performance, even though, that's done in a very nuanced way, so that you're still capturing these really deep meanings, and all he's doing is like going, he's just like doing this. And even then, like it helps me. I don't know. This is something I would want to rewatch, but I just would need to be like in some kind of isolation booth or something where
VR headset, Tokyo Story.
There you go.
I could see a screening of it maybe, because then I'd have to watch it and have
because it's so slow. Otherwise, it really is. I think you're totally right. At the same time, Denny, this is probably the slowest paced movie to date that we've seen.
Yeah, I knew about 10 minutes in, I was in for the long haul.
I knew 10 minutes in that TC was in for the long haul.
I was like, God, here we go. This shit.
Yeah. And it's such a simple message in some ways. It's like, okay, there's a family, they have kids, they're doing relatively well, but they don't really have time for their parents. That's it. That's the story. That's all there is.
Yeah.
I mean, the mom dies at the end.
But I mean, that's also, the whole thing is everyone has parents, right? And everyone has to work. I mean, most people have to work for their jobs and things like that.
Right. You got to go create your own life.
And it's about like it's about like the life being mundane, and your parents are going to die, and you're probably going to be alive when it happens.
Right. And it may not be that big a deal.
Yeah.
And that's sad.
It is sad.
Right. Because they may not, in retrospect, they may not have been the best of parents. Certainly that the dad was drinking a lot, like the certain kids, depending upon where they were at while he was drinking a whole lot, may not care for him.
Yeah.
And so it's really, maybe it's hard to feel anything, but I mean, the mom, certainly we don't know anything about her failures as a mother, or she was a bad mom or anything like that. We don't hear. The only thing we really hear about what kind of parents they were is that the dad drank a lot. That's about it.
Yeah.
So
and then he stopped when the youngest daughter was born.
Was that when he stopped?
That's what he said. He's like, I don't know if he was accurate, but one of the sons was like, or maybe the daughter.
When the youngest daughter was born.
When
so
she was born, yeah.
Right. So the other kids had to go through some kind of bad drinking.
The older ones had it worse.
Right.
Which is why I think the hairdresser was the second oldest and the doctor was the first oldest.
Right. And so that may explain some of their indifference, because maybe between his drinking and then maybe it was just the mom ignored it and didn't do anything about it or didn't protect them or who knows what. And that might have, led to them feeling fairly indifferent about them as parents at this point.
Yeah, she seemed kind of like a pushover.
Yeah. But who knows? Who knows? Like, I mean, does that justify any of this stuff? I don't know. But it's like, yeah. You just don't get any of those details. The only other than that he drank and then he stopped. Yeah. That's it. That's all you get.
You know what else I really like about this movie?
What?
The way they do storytelling by kind of mentioning something happening and then at some point later cutting and then mentioning that thing in the past. So it's like it skips over an event and...
Oh, but it doesn't happen. But you don't see the event itself. Yeah.
Yeah. That happens a bunch with like the train rides with... I think the most obvious one was when the doctor guy was like, yeah, she's probably not going to make it through the night or whatever. And then it cuts to sunrise and everyone's like crying and you're like, oh, that was... You don't see her die, but she's dead.
Good storytelling sometimes does that too. Sometimes there's cheap ways of like dwelling on events or whatever that you could do that just are like, they're easy. Like you could show her dying, right?
Yeah,
and play some sad music. And fine, that makes sense as far as the course of the story. But say the skip that, it's like, that's not important. Her dying for the story is not the important thing here. It's the reaction.
Yeah.
That they're trying.
This isn't General Hospital.
Yeah, exactly. It's not about like this. It's not about this simple dramatic event that everybody can easily like, oh yeah, she's dying. That's sad. But the focus of the story is not her death, but the reactions.
Right.
And what the kids do after her death. So let's not waste time with a.
No, we've already wasted quite a bit of
death scene. Right. I know. But can you imagine if they put all those other scenes in? Then you had a 3-hour movie, and you would have to kill yourself.
Yeah,
there'd be more swelling strings if there was a death on screen.
Yes.
But John, you sounded like a lot like the late Mr. Ebert. Do you want to hear a part of his review?
Sure.
Yeah, I actually looked at some of that stuff.
It's a pretty good review.
So go, man.
So one of the lines is, Tokyo Story lacks sentimental triggers and contrived emotion. It looks away from moments a lesser movie would have exploited. It doesn't want to force our emotions, but to share its understanding. Which is true.
It is. It's
to the point where it feels almost flat, because we're used to movies like throwing us around with
maybe.
Oh yeah.
Plot, like, this is the climax of the movie. Like, this movie lasted longer than I thought it was going to last. I was like, all right, she's dead. All right, everyone's going home. All right, she's going home. All right, when is this movie going to end? Like, nothing is happening at this point. Like, why am I still watching this for the last 20 minutes afterwards? I don't know.
But you're right. Normally we see that in sound cues, but there are all kinds of other ways a movie will normally manipulate us. And this movie just sort of, his whole style is not about that. And it's kind of, it's more, he very clearly has a message and a story that he's telling, but it's not going to be done in a dramatic fashion.
Yeah.
And that supposedly is kind of the power of it. That's where you get that feeling that this is just everyday life.
Yeah. Right? And that is the feeling I get from the movie, but that's not saying that I enjoyed the movie entirely when I was watching it. You know what I mean? Because just like life, we're like, get on with it,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I would tell you, and the same thing. It's like I'm much more enjoying this movie in retrospect than I am enjoying the experience of watching it.
Yes, and I would agree with that too. Even though like the first half of it, I was like, oh, this is bad. But then, it got me a little bit emotional part. But then the ending, I was like bored again. I was like, come on. But it's like reading all these reviews, that's what it does. And I think that's why the emotional part got me at least. So I don't know.
Yeah. So there's, and this is interesting. There's like kind of something that people can accuse like film watchers of doing, where like you watch the movie, you don't like it, then you read all these critical reviews, and you're like, well, of course
it was good. What do you mean?
Thing. Yeah. Because look, they said it was. Yeah. As and I, what am I? I'm going to be smart, and they're smart, so I'm going to think.
Yeah,
it's
well,
good
I didn't
now.
like it, but I do now. So whatever.
Right. I was making nachos while it was happening, but now I think it's the best film ever.
I need cheese in my brain to absorb the smarts.
Yeah. So, but this is a case where I really think it is when you reflect on the movie and you need a little bit of help in terms of seeing it because it's subtle. It's not hitting you over the head with what it's trying to do.
And there are barriers, such as attention spans.
Right. And the language, but I mean, maybe, but at the same time, it's, or just having to read subtitles.
I wouldn't say, the dialogue was so slow and spread out that I don't think it was that big of an issue.
That's fair. I don't think so either. I agree. So this is really a case where I do think that like reflecting on the movie.
Can I also add, can I add that like every shot is static? So once you get an idea of a face and a location, then you can kind of imagine it more through a scene.
Right. Because the camera is not going to move.
Right. So you can kind of imagine in your head as you're reading the thing what's happening because you already know what he looks like when he's talking. You know what scene he's in. You know. Right. Maybe it's easier for your brain. I don't know.
No. And there's very little movement of the camera too. So it's not like
there's only one camera move in the entire movie.
Yeah. So you're not missing anything. So you can feel free to read it. So it's a perfect movie in terms of like not having it be a subtitled movie, not affect the experience of the movie.
Yes,
as much as it can. So that's a good point. But yeah, so I do think though that thinking about this movie makes it better, and like reflecting on it and reading the commentaries, reading what people are saying. No, this is look at what's happening here. It helps a lot.
Yeah,
I'll take the word for it.
Yeah.
It's still slow.
Yeah.
Still
slow.
And
part of it might be too is just getting acquainted with this style and learning to understand it and expect it so that you know what you're getting into going into it. So like I'd be interested in watching this guy some other movies by this director now and if I know what I'm getting into going in, then I might be a lot more prepared for this.
Yeah.
So that's part of it as well. Just like this is a very and maybe this is why it's so loved. It seems like a very distinctive style of filmmaking with very clearly this director has very clear ideas of what he wants to accomplish and how he's going to accomplish it, which is what we normally love about any of these films where there's something that's very much crafted. And that's the case, but this is not what we're used to. We're our attention spans aren't used to this kind of thing. As you said, as you sort of alluded to earlier.
And I don't think people's were even back in 1953, let alone now,
Yes. So, right.
Where we can go on Reddit and just swipe picture hot, picture hot, picture hot, instant friggin' entertainment.
Kitty.
Up 250 film cast list.
Oh, I thought there's a couple questions I had on like the plot or something.
Or something.
I mean, I don't think we're gonna get anywhere on them because this movie isn't the kind of movie I think you can really. I don't know. I'll just ask the question. There was a part where the stepdaughter was talking to the mother of the house when they were doing like the sleepover party with them two there, and she was telling her to marry and it'd be lonely to get old. And she says something. She says, "I won't get that old, so don't worry." Is a line of dialogue out of her. And my question is she like, I'm going to kill myself at some point?
Suicide.
I miss that. Ooh.
And it came out of her before I even thought that she might be lying, but because she had a big smile on her face and everything. So I was like, was that suicide related? That's so weird if so, but the end kind of makes me think that maybe it was. I don't know.
Wow. I missed that line. But I think that's very striking with her character that maybe that's kind of what the hint is, that she doesn't plan to grow old.
Yeah. And she has no intent to find somebody new. And
Right. Oh, man.
I actually thought the father was going to somehow kill himself. When he got up and walked away from the dinner table, I thought he was going to jump off the roof or something.
I totally didn't. I have expected him not to be there. I just thought that might happen. But no, that again would have ruined the way the movie is. It's like they're enduring all this stuff.
I was like, I think that might happen, but how weird would that be if this movie just has a body crashing through the ground right now? That'd be pretty weird.
Yeah. It's not it hasn't been his style throughout the film. He has just endured whatever has happened and been like, okay.
Yeah.
It's
like, I guess the days are going to get lonely now. So
yeah, exactly.
Might as well get to getting lonely and just sit around in my house.
As long as these ungrateful bastards go away, I'm fine. That's what he's thinking.
Yeah.
Did he want some of them to stay, or was he He kind of kept saying like, "Thanks for coming."
Yeah,
like,
I thought he was kind of ushering him out a little. Like,
no, I mean, why would you want people? You know, he knows they don't want to be there. It's like, why do you want them to stay? And
well,
it's
some
really
of them
sad.
Did, right?
Well, no, the two daughters maybe, but
or the stepdaughter and the young daughter, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the stepdaughter and the young daughter, yes, but the rest of them, no. He knows they want to go, and he doesn't want them there. I mean, so he already knows. He's already realized that they don't really want that. Having him around makes them uncomfortable. That they're not happy to have him there. I mean, that was kind of the realization of the trip, and so it's like that's not changing.
Yeah,
and she's dead now. So why don't you guys can go? Thanks for coming. But why don't you guys go?
And another thing that he might have known that the stepdaughter, the widowed stepdaughter, you know, she was admitting that she was a liar or whatever. And he was still saying like, you're a good person. Like, he's like, no, you're not. You're a good person. Yeah. Maybe he knew she was lying and was sad, but the fact that she was coming and being nice and doing things against what she wanted to do was being a good person. He
just thought it was humility,
he
right?
Understood.
Just humility.
He understood. Well, not even humility. Maybe he understood that all she was doing is acting, but at least she was following through. You know, at least she was trying.
Yeah.
Even if she felt deep down that she didn't mean it, she was trying.
Yeah. And being a good person isn't how you feel, right? It's like what you do. Like you need actions to be an actual good person.
And all he did, and think of how comforting it was to the grandmother when they had this visit for her to be so nice to her. It would have.
True.
I mean,
made everything better.
It did, and it was like the highlight of their entire trip was how she treated them.
Yeah.
So even if she didn't feel like she meant it as much as she should have,
does it matter? Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah. I mean, she still did a good thing, and that means she's a good person for trying.
Yeah. 100% agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Man, see, this movie's, again, talking about this movie is so much better than watching it.
Because it's a story about all the things that everybody thinks about. So,
yeah.
I mean, I thought that's why I'd like it, but it was just too slow.
Yeah. I know. You like this slice of life stuff, and we all do. Some of the movies where we all like agree and really get behind, again, like 400 Blows. What was the movie with all the candles?
Fanny Alexander.
Oh, Fanny and Alexander, yeah.
Right. Some of these movies where you feel like you're just kind of watching things happen, you know, and you're just a part of it, but you're not, the movie isn't trying to be dramatic at you or tell you a certain thing or anything like that. You're just part of life.
No, this was like you're sitting in a field, you're watching grass grow on your left, someone put a wall up and painted it on your right. And then there's like molasses coming out of a tree and there's like some other bullshit going on and you're literally doing nothing.
Yeah. Sitting on the mat, boss.
Yeah, all good, boss.
And that scene too, I thought was really good where the son had to leave. And I'm not even sure, what do you think it means? He's like, I can see my mother disappearing in front of me. What does that even mean? And why would that upset you?
Because he wasn't a better son, I guess. I don't know.
Well, like, his memory of her, there's nothing for him to do now. He can't change anything that's happened. It's like she's gone,
but he didn't want to. He was joking about that earlier.
I know. Well, and he still wanted to go catch the baseball game. I mean, he still was like, I mean, he immediately like went into what is better for him in the moment. And so it's sort of like, I don't know. But
he kind of selfishly was just thinking about himself, really, because he like went and looked at all the other graves, and he's like, "Well, we all just become gravestones eventually,
right.
So that sucks."
But he was also
so
like,
how about that ball game?
Yeah,
right. But also kind of selfishly, like almost selfishly, like, oh, I could have felt better myself if she was still alive. I could have done something. But she's dead, so now I'm sad that I don't get to change things. And now I'm gonna go to the baseball game. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. It's sad.
Yeah. So I have this note here I can't read.
You have a note?
What is the tappy more? What does that mean? What is the tapping noise?
I love that. What is the tapping more?
There's a lot of scenes where it sounds like in the background, it's like, and I was like, is that supposed to be the music or is that like somebody doing a chore outside their house? You guys recognize that?
I don't know if I noticed.
Yeah, I didn't notice it. Yeah.
Okay. There was like just a banging, like some scenes.
This maybe, I thought kids running around in the next room or something.
It was like pretty on tempo though, and it lasted entire scenes. Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody's beating the rug next door. I don't know what it is.
Beating the rug. One piece of cool trivia. That's all I got is one for this movie.
Ooh.
The original copy of this movie was destroyed in a fire at the studio.
Whoa.
Before it was released in most places. So they had to like, I wish I could, let me see if I can find it. This will be worth it because this is the only piece of trivia we're going to have.
Did your copy of the movie have moments where it blacked out for moments?
Where it was like, mine was mostly like turning white.
And mine shook. The frame shook a lot.
Yeah, frame shook a ton.
Right, yeah.
It was clear that there was like, this was damaged film. Like at some point, like there were points where there's like, fuck it. All right, we just got to jump to the next thing.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
And maybe it was just a bad, I don't know. We had a weird setup where I was at in Kansas, but it was like there were like 3 different moments where the screen just went black for a period and then just resumed as if the film was just cut.
Huh. No, mine didn't have that.
All right, that we have to make.
Where did you find it?
That may be the AV setup that we had in Kansas. I don't know.
Where did you rent it on Amazon or what'd you do?
No, I got it through the mail through Netflix.
What? My Netflix says very long wait, John. You send me that shit. I'm next in line.
There's one copy.
I had to rent it for $4. You owe me $2, John.
Ha! No, I don't.
Give me $2.
I think I watched it for free on the Criterion Collection.
Do you know what? I think this is just payback because do you know what? There was I'm talking like my daughter now. You know what?
Oh God.
Sorry. There was a single copy of a film that was not on the list in terms of our order that was sent to me. And do you know what this film was? Can you guess what this film was that was sent to me that was not on my list and there was no way it should have been sent to me out of order?
I'm confused about the question, so I don't know if I can guess.
There was a DVD in the mail of one of the films that we'd watched a long time ago.
And
it was a film.
And Netflix sent it to you in error?
Yes.
So how am I supposed to guess?
Film.
It's that bad.
Because you are a Russian spy and you had Stalker sent to me again.
Oh, shit.
Did I? I didn't do that, did I?
Probably.
Who knows? In your KGB, like, distorted mind, you may not know what you do anymore.
Dude, I don't even know if you're being serious or what the hell you're doing right now.
Last week, I got a DVD from Netflix and opened it as one of the DVDs, assumingly that we were going to be watching soon, and it was Stalker.
What?
So weird.
Yep.
Dude,
it was weird.
That's really weird.
Yeah. Again, I just figure it's your Russian influence. Just to we send him Stalker again. He like it this time.
Maybe.
Anyway.
Just like that.
Yep. Okay. Sorry.
That was good. So yeah. Here's this lovely piece of trivia that we've been waiting for. The original negative of Tokyo Story was lost shortly after the movie was completed due to a fire at the vault of the film lab where it was being stored. The film had to be released using prints made from a dupe protective negative.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what that means, but that's what we watched.
A dupe protective negative?
Yeah, I guess it's like a copy, but it's protective. So I don't know what that means.
It's got like a couple.
There you go.
Got a couple bouncers next to him. Well, a couple guys hanging out.
It's wearing a giant long condom
like a
over all the thing.
Like, dude. Like it was like somehow protected from duplication. Like it was some kind of like copyright way of or dealing with like preventing people from copying it. And some of that protected it from aging.
So is it protective as in it's being protected from being duped, or is it a duplicate of a protected negative?
Oh, I no idea.
I don't know.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go because I have to. John, what would you say? Top 250?
I think to have a movie that, I don't know, even if the experience of it wasn't the most wonderful thing, the talking about it was great. So I would go yes.
Nice. TC, did we switch you?
Negative.
Yeah, we didn't expect it.
Dupe protected negative. Now we know what it's supposed to mean.
It's TC.
Yeah.
TC was alive in 1953. That's amazing.
That's
film.
Yeah, Timmy, you got an opinion?
No.
Did Timmy even see a frame of this movie?
No, I was sober, so definitely not. Timmy was tucked away.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let me out.
Yeah, no, fuck off.
Stay in there, Timmy. Damn it.
Yeah, you had 15 beers yesterday, you son of a bitch. Go to sleep.
I don't know. Probably no more thoughts, guys, right?
Negative.
Nah.
The weird thing is, too,
what do we got?
I'm looking at this, just tell where I got this quote from, the nerdist.com/classic film Tokyo Story. There are GIFs and screen caps from the movie that look amazing compared to what I watched.
You think they just gussied it up a little bit for like?
I don't know, man.
Frame by frame?
Because there's a Criterion collection, and I rented it on Amazon, but it said Criterion on the Amazon thing. John, what did your DVD say? Do you remember?
It's Criterion Collection.
Yeah.
I think.
What the hell? Maybe they processed it more.
Yeah. I didn't have as many problems as you did. I didn't notice the audio being terrible. Well, no, I take it back. I mean, the soundtrack part, especially at the beginning, sounded like it was being played on an old record.
Yep. 100%. But you couldn't hear in between dialogue, it was just like
I didn't get that. Yeah.
Like the old record is done and you're getting the center of the record repeated over and over again, you know? Whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't get that on my copy.
Mine was
we didn't
okay.
Get that.
Huh.
That would have been slowly like insane inducing.
No, it got easier as you got into it because you forgot it was there. Just like a fan at night, you know? Something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Like this podcast
tuning it out.
when you're just listening and you're on, but you're not. Yeah.
Hey, you're still awake. Hey, listeners, you're still awake. You're still with us. You're still here. We're going to watch a movie next week.
Oh.
More recent than this by over 50 years.
Oh, thank God.
2005, V for Vendetta.
Oh, all right.
Directed by James McTeague. Don't know who that is. TC, have you seen this?
Yeah.
Yeah. John?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This is the Guy Fawkes mask movie with all the anonymous guys wearing the masks.
Right.
Oh, the Wachowski brothers wrote the screenplay too.
Ooh, was this pre-Matrix or post-Matrix?
Post-Matrix,
I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Interesting.
Very interesting.
I didn't know that. All right. This will be fun.
Yeah.
I could stay awake for this one.
Yeah. TC, why don't you take us out? Go for it.
All right. Well, see you later.
I don't know, man. That was a bad Timmy.
Yeah.
It's because of, what are you going to do?
Can it be a bad Timmy if he's the guy who does Timmy?
Hey,
every Timmy's good Timmy.
There he is. He's up.
Hey.
Man, just getting up, folks. Sorry about that. V for Vendetta.
More of a Cockney Timmy.
Yeah. They're not booze in me. That's right. That's why. It's not enough booze.
I know. It's not. This isn't drunk Timmy, which is like
drunk.
Yeah. Timmy.
What?
But
It's still on?
If you're still listening, that means you like the movie, and that means you should give us 5 stars for also not shitting on this movie as much as we very easily could have. Because sometimes we do for movies like this. So 5 stars.
Yeah.
All right.
Good for us.
Thank you,
All right,
everybody.
guys. Talk to you guys next week.
All right. Take care, guys.